Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDL44 coming at you with another video. So, I want to offer you a few names, as I often do, of players that are really breaking out at the end of this season. With everybody having to deal with injuries and COVID protocol. Just figured I'd compile a list of names of players that have really broken out in this time and taken advantage of the opportunities given. So, there was a couple guys on the Denver Nuggets that I wanted to shout out. Who will start off this list. One being PJ Dozier, a score first point guard that they acquired in the Aaron Gordon trade with Orlando. And initially, he was somebody that they wanted but could not get in the draft, and they were able to acquire him here. And he's taking advantage of the opportunity given with Jamal Murray going down with an injury. And of course, Gary Harris being traded as well in that deal. They have opportunities at the shooting guard position now that maybe they didn't have before. So a guy like PJ Dozier gets an opportunity at shooting guard to really step in and show what he can do, and he's been pretty consistent in doing so, making a name for himself with the Denver Nuggets and showing them that they've got somebody that they can build with for the future in him. So, yeah, it's not surprising to see that the Denver Nuggets are continuing to have success without Jamal Murray, because Jokic is basically the player that makes everything go. So really, they just have to find players that can score the ball in Murray's stead, and they have the personnel for that. And PJ Dozier is part of the reason that is the case. Another player on that team that really helps that process is Campazzo. Now, his name, I think it's Danilo or something of that nature. But unfortunately, obviously, I can't pronounce it properly. But Campazzo is his last name, and he is a pass first point guard who assists in, no pun intended, assist being the word, in facilitating and helping Jokic just keep things going and keep the ball popping in that regard. And he does his job. He can really assist the ball at a high rate. He scores here and there a little bit, does the best he can on boards, but you really have him on the floor to facilitate the basketball and to keep things popping. So with him and Jokic on the floor at the same time, they really just have a phenomenal offensive tandem that keeps, as I said, the ball popping all over the floor, guys getting the ball in rhythm, guys like Gordon, obviously Porter, and so on and so forth are able to eat and eat good. And Denver's continuing to win, as I predicted they would. So shout out to those two young players. The next player I want to bring into the offering is Khem Birch of the Toronto Raptors. Now, for me, it's really funny because Khem Birch was a player I had on my 2K team about 2 years ago, I'd say. On my player, season, he was my starting center, believe it or not. And this was back way before he got opportunities in real life to play. He was playing well behind Vucevic, probably fourth on the depth chart with Orlando at that time. So needless to say, I didn't know much about him, but unfortunately, my team had made some bad trades and we had some bad injuries that ultimately left us without a center that could really go. So Khem Birch was our guy, and we had him pretty much all season, and ultimately I was able to turn him into a really, really solid inside presence. And so for me, it's kind of funny to see that, wow, this guy is really finally, after all these years, really showing that he could play some, and it wasn't just, the video game. he could really contribute, and he's really doing it on both sides of the floor. He's blocking shots, he's rebounding, and he's really supplemented what Toronto has had to go through with guys coming in and out of the lineup. Boucher recently got hurt, and it's one of those situations where he's just had a chance to step in and has done his job. They just recently acquired him, and he's broken out, and you got to give him his due. He's earned an opportunity to probably play, if not on Toronto Raptors next year, definitely on another team, and get some rotational minutes and really continue this process for himself. So, congratulations to Khem Birch on breaking out of the last several weeks, being fantasy relevant in fantasy basketball, especially during playoff time. That's a pretty big deal, and he's helping players. He's helping us win leagues out here for those of us who've picked him up, and of course helping his team as they deal with their injury issues and dealing with having to live in Tampa this year. They're the only team that's been displaced because of COVID. So, it's one of those situations where I kind of just give the Toronto Raptors a pass. Everything they've had to deal with, plus Van Fleet being in and out of the lineup, Lowry being in and out of the lineup, Siakam not playing very well this year, Anunoby being in and out of the lineup. They've just dealt with more than your average. So, but they have found something in Khem Birch, and he is the next name on that list. Okay, so to follow him will be a guy that's playing for the Indiana Pacers, who stepped in for Domantas Sabonis in his absence, Oshae Brissett. Now, Oshae Brissett is a power forward who also plays both sides of the ball, blocks shots consistently to go along with some really good scoring, some good rebounding. And, he's somebody that you're really seeing can also be a problem in this league for a very long time. In fact, he may be the best player of all the players mentioned thus far. He really is balling, and he's come out of nowhere over the last 2 weeks. I had never even heard of him, but since he's had this opportunity to start and they've been giving him a lot of minutes, he's just broken all the way out. I mean, what can I say? This is just somebody who stepped on the scene and has taken advantage each and every night of the opportunity given to him, and showing that he's going to be somebody that you have to deal with in this league. So I don't know what the Indiana Pacers are going to kind of do with that situation. Obviously, they're waiting for Domantas to get back. They're still a playoff team, in my opinion, and they're a much more dangerous team now that they found this player. It's one of those situations where it's like, okay, I hope everybody's paying attention to the Indiana Pacers, because they're not the same team they were just maybe 3 weeks ago. Some of the most important players on their team were not on the team about 3 weeks ago. It's one of those type of situations. You're looking at Caris LeVert, who's playing like an all-star, picking up where he was from when we last saw him playing like an all-star for the Brooklyn Nets. He's still as great as he was before the health scare. And now, as I said, this kid Brissett, you have to deal with him. Domantas Sabonis is a year senior, and he's continuing to be a perennial all-star, fantastic player on both sides of the floor. They're still also waiting for the plane to go by. That's what we're waiting on. But they're waiting on their center to come back, who's prominent in blocking shots and really spreading the floor for them. So at this point, it's like, they're a team you have to be careful if you're in the Eastern Conference with this team. They have another player on this list that I want to offer to you, which is why I'm continuing to speak of the Pacers, Edmund Sumner. He's a shooting guard who's had a chance to step in and be consistent in scoring the ball for the Indiana Pacers. So, as players have, again, stepped out, of course, they're having injury issues continue today with Brogdon going down, so the injuries continue. But nevertheless, as the playoffs are rounding, you see them as one of the more deep teams in the league because of the production that they've found seemingly out of nowhere. So you got to give their coaching staff some credit and give those two players some credit, Omari Brissett and, of course, Edmund Sumner. And let's see, was there anyone else on this list that I wanted to give you guys? I'm telling you, man, this is about the third time I'm trying to do this video. I ain't even gonna lie. I did a whole 10-minute video and messed up all of these guys' names. So, I'm pretty happy with this one now it turned out. I hope you guys are as well. And I think there's another name, man, but I just can't remember what it is. My memory's trash, so I hope that is something that you guys give me a pass for going forward. My name is BDF44, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks for listening to my offering for this week, and I'm out.